Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to dive into a very interesting and important topic in the world of finance and business: capital limited. It's something that affects not just giant corporations or startups, but even individual entrepreneurs and small business owners. Whether you're planning to start a business, invest in one, or simply understand how companies work behind the scenes, this topic will open your eyes to how decisions are made when money is not unlimited. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore everything about capital limitation in simple and easy to understand language. So first, let's just imagine you want to start a small business. You have an idea in mind. Maybe you want to open a small cafe, an online store, or maybe a service-based business like a marketing agency. Now, what's the first thing you would think about? Most likely, money. How much money do you need to start? How much do you already have? How much will you need to run the business every month? These are basic but very important questions, and they all revolve around one thing: capital. Capital is simply the money or financial resources you have to operate your business. It can be your own savings, money from family or friends, or funds from investors or banks. Now, the problem most people face is that this capital is limited. You don't have an unlimited supply of cash to do whatever you want. And that's where things get interesting. When capital is limited, you can't just spend freely. You have to plan. You have to make decisions carefully. You have to prioritize. Let's say you only have $10,000 to start your business. Do you spend it on marketing, on buying equipment, on hiring staff, or on building a website? You can't do everything, so you have to choose what's most important. That's what we mean by limited capital. You have to make choices with the money you have. In the business world, this is a constant challenge. Even large companies with millions of dollars in the bank have to manage their capital wisely. They can't just spend on every project or idea that comes along. Every dollar needs to be used in a way that brings the most value to the company. That's where financial planning and capital budgeting come into play. Capital budgeting is the process of deciding which projects or investments a company should take on. Given that they have limited capital, it's all about choosing the best use of money to generate the highest return. For example, should the company open a new branch, launch a new product, or invest in technology? They might not have the money to do all three, so they have to analyze the potential benefits and risks of each option and pick the best one. This concept also applies to startups. Imagine a startup that just raised $100,000 from investors. That might sound like a lot, but it can disappear fast. Rent, salaries, software subscriptions, product development, it all adds up. So, the founders need to be super careful about how they use that money. If they spend too much on marketing and not enough on product development, they might get attention but no real product to sell. If they do the opposite, they might have a great product but no customers. So again, choices matter. Now let's look at how limited capital affects decision-making. When you have limited resources, you're forced to think more creatively. You can't afford to make big mistakes, so you become more cautious and strategic. You look for cheaper alternatives, negotiate better deals, and try to get the most out of every dollar. This can actually be a good thing because it forces you to focus on what really matters. Many successful companies started with very limited capital, and that made them smarter and leaner in how they operated. Let's take the example of Apple. When Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started Apple, they didn't have a ton of money. They built the first Apple computer in a garage using limited resources. They had to make the most of what they had. That limitation didn't stop them, it actually pushed them to innovate. And that story is true for many successful entrepreneurs and companies. Limited capital also affects how fast you can grow. If you have unlimited money, you can expand quickly, hire a big team, and reach more customers fast. But if your capital is limited, you have to grow slowly and steadily. This can be frustrating, but it can also build a strong foundation. You learn to manage cash flow, understand your business deeply, and avoid the trap of growing too fast and failing because you couldn't handle the pressure. Another important thing to understand is that limited capital is not just about starting a business. It's also about running one. Even after your business is up and running, you will face situations where you have to make tough financial decisions. Maybe sales are down, expenses are high, or unexpected costs pop up. In those moments, managing your limited capital becomes a matter of survival. You have to cut costs, find new revenue streams, or get creative with financing. Speaking of financing, when capital is limited, you might need to look for external sources. That could mean getting a bank loan, attracting investors, or using crowdfunding platforms. Each of these comes with pros and cons. Loans mean debt and interest. Investors mean giving up some control of your company. Crowdfunding means building a community around your product and convincing them to support you. But no matter the method, it all comes down to making the best use of the funds you receive. Let's also talk about opportunity cost. This is a very important idea in the context of limited capital. Opportunity cost means that when you chose to spend your money on one thing, you're giving up the chance to spend it on something else. For example, if you spend $5,000 on a new website, you can't use that same $5,000 to hire a marketing consultant. So, every financial decision comes with an opportunity cost. You have to ask yourself, is this the best possible use of my limited capital? And let's not forget the emotional side of things. Managing limited capital can be stressful. You might feel pressure, fear, or anxiety. You might worry about running out of money or making the wrong decision. That's totally normal. But the key is to stay calm, stay informed, and stay focused on your goals. Learn from others, get advice from mentors, and keep improving your financial knowledge. One smart way to deal with limited capital is by creating a solid budget. A budget helps you track where your money is going and where you can save. It also helps you plan for the future. For example, if you know that you need $2,000 every month to run your business, and you only have $6,000 left, you know you have 3 months to either increase revenue or reduce expenses. Budgeting gives you control and clarity. Another tip is to use technology to your advantage. There are many apps and tools available today that can help you manage your finances, plan your expenses, and make smarter business decisions. From accounting software like QuickBooks to project management tools like Trello, technology can help you do more with less. Also, don't underestimate the power of networking. When you have limited capital, your network becomes even more valuable. Talk to other entrepreneurs, join business communities, attend events, and build relationships. You might find partners, collaborators, or mentors who can help you reduce costs, share resources, or open new opportunities. And remember, limited capital doesn't mean limited potential. Some of the biggest companies in the world started with very little money. What made the difference was vision, determination, smart planning, and the ability to adapt. You don't need $1 million to start, you just need the right mindset and strategy. One more thing to consider is how to reinvest your profits. When your business starts making money, it can be tempting to spend it all. But smart entrepreneurs reinvest their profits back into the business. That might mean upgrading equipment, hiring staff, improving your product, or expanding your reach. Reinvesting helps you grow over time, even if your initial capital was limited. Let's also touch on risk management. When you're working with limited capital, taking big risks can be dangerous. That doesn't mean you should avoid risk completely. A business always involves some risk, but it means you should calculate your risks carefully. Think about the worst-case scenario, and make sure you have a plan in place to handle it. That way, even if things don't go as planned, you won't be completely wiped out. And finally, always keep learning. The world of finance and business is always changing. New trends, tools, and strategies are always emerging. The more you learn, the better you'll be at managing your capital, and no matter how limited it is. Read books, watch videos, take courses, and never stop improving your financial skills. So, to wrap it all up, capital limited is a reality that almost every business faces. But it's not a barrier, it's an opportunity to be smart, strategic, and innovative. With the right mindset, careful planning, and a willingness to learn, you can turn limited capital into unlimited possibilities. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.